It's time for the stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
Which team do you think is most likely to have their playoff hopes crushed this weekend? Michigan hosting Illinois, TCU at Baylor, or USC at UCLA?
And remember, guys, you can blow your whistle if you disagree with what I
Right.
say. Have them crushed. Well, a lot of people are calling for TCU to get beat, but they've been calling for that for a while. And what's scary to me is I'm now going, maybe TCU does win, which means they're going to get beat. I don't think Michigan loses, but because I want USC, I'm not bought in on USC anyway for two reasons. One, because they have very good defense, and two, I don't get to watch them enough. They're always on at
Late
11,
night.
and I'm not going to go back and record the show. Or the show. I sound like my grandma. I'm not going to go back and record Mama's Family on VHS and go back. I don't get to watch them because they're not on in prime television time where I can really just sit back, just hanging out, watch them. Because really, I don't sit down with a notepad and go, oh, look what they did here, 2nd and 8. They really brought that. But if I can just sit on the couch and have the game on and watch 2.5 quarters, then I know a little bit more about the team. But I'm going to go USC. And that Pac-12, they just eat each other alive over there.
Yeah.
It's almost like the SEC, but the Pac-12 doesn't get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Where
true.
the SEC eats each other alive, but you get the benefit of the doubt because the Pac-12, they're like, they're the Pac-12. And so if you have 1 or 2 losses, you're automatically out. I'm going to go USC. They're probably the team that could lose it. I wish UCLA hadn't lost last week because that would have been fun. If they both were in the mix for it, that would have been fun. All right, next question.
Which is more likely to happen in your mind? 3 SEC teams, or, speaking of Pac-12, 1 Pac-12 team makes a playoff?
Probably the 1 Pac-12 team makes the playoff. I think it's going to be hard for a lot of things have to go right for 3 SEC teams because those 3 teams would be Georgia. You're thinking LSU sneaks Tennessee. Let's just talk about all of them that could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Georgia at 1, you got Michigan, Ohio State at 2 and 3 right now, and at 4 you got TCU. You got Tennessee 5 or 6, and LSU right after that. So what we're thinking is with the 3-teamer is that Ohio State or Michigan, one has to lose and fall out, which would then pop Tennessee into there, and then if TCU loses, somebody else pops in there, and that's LSU. A lot of things have to happen, and that doesn't automatically mean that if Michigan or Ohio State play that one of them automatically pops out. Let's say Georgia loses and one of them goes to 1, but then the other one falls to 4 because the game is super close. There's just a lot of things that could happen. I'm very interested in this. I love talking about it because, yes, it'll probably work itself out, but maybe it doesn't. And it's fun talking about what if it doesn't. And I think that there's a lot of things that have to happen exactly right for 3 SEC teams. You know what has to happen for a Pac-12 team? USC just wins a couple games. That's it. And will they lose this weekend? Maybe. Possibly, probably. But I think it's easier to go, if they win a few games they're in, then, okay, here we go. LSU has to win the SEC championship. Ohio State, Michigan. So, yes, I think a Pac-12 getting in is probably slightly, the odds are a little better of that than the other way. I'd love to see an SEC team that's not supposed to get in, because I love to hear people cry.
Yeah.
I love to
There'd be a lot of commotion.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love commotion. I love crying. When it's not me, the one that's crying.
Doing the crying.
All right, what else?
Which second-year quarterback play has surprised you more? The progression of Justin Fields or regression of Zach Wilson?
Well, I have a couple things to say about that. First of all, I would say the progression of Justin Fields, just because it kind of happened real quick, meaning we're at week 3 this year in the NFL, and he still sucked.
Oh, yeah. It happened like after a few games.
Yeah. I mean, it was a game and a half, basically, when we started to go, okay, now they're going to run on purpose with him. But it was them calling an offense and using him in that offense differently. First of all, he had no receivers before Claypool went over there. But still, he didn't want to throw. He didn't want to sit in the pocket. You saw that. He'd draw back. Oh, crap, go. He'd run out immediately. So it's that point when they said, okay, well, if this is what we have to deal with, then let's deal. If we have to deal with this, let's just deal it. And they started running him. And he set the record for most running yards by a quarterback in a game of like 180, basically. So that was surprising because it came out of nowhere in the middle of the season. That's the answer. But I'm not going to say that Zach Wilson has regressed so much. He has been hurt this year. I think it's hard to, when you miss time because of an injury, to come back and then it's like, oh, you've gotten worse. You've regressed. He may have gotten worse, but we know that he was injured so much that he had to miss games. So I can't commit to. And also the Jets have won. So I'm not totally on the Zach Wilson sucks wagon. I've never got on the Zach Wilson's awesome wagon.
Not even after the whole thing with his mom's friend?
He's awesome there.
Okay. That's what I'm wondering.
Hey, he's awesome in his own
Well,
special way.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's awesome in a way I wish I was awesome back in the day, but I wasn't. But I'm going to go Justin Fields. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely surprising. I love it. I hope the Bears lose because I'm losing money every time they win. So keep on losing, but it's great. It's great. All right, what next?
Do you think the Dolphins' offense and Tua's play will regress when the temperatures go low and it gets a little colder?
What's interesting about Tua is he's never really had to play in cold weather, just even collegiately, because he played at Alabama. And the Dolphins, perfect. But the good thing is they play half home, half away, so it's just a few games. They haven't lost a game with him healthy at all. And they're like, well, look at his weapons. Yeah, that's you're not going to find a Hall of Fame coach without a great quarterback. You're not going to find a Hall of Fame quarterback without a good offensive line. Yes, that's part of it. Do I think they'll regress? I think depending on, yeah, a little, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really matter in the terms of that's why they're going to lose. They have so many weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Get that ball to Tyreek and you're good.
And if you can't, hey, Waddle's right there.
Waddle's right there, too.
Make sure he gets his. Oh, they got a tight end who can do it ain't the Dougie.
Yeah, what's it called? My kids
Gritty?
say it all.
The
Gritty,
Gritty,
that's it.
yeah.
Gritty.
Yeah.
I've been practicing a little bit. I don't have it down yet.
Can you
but
do it?
Nah, I'm trying.
And now they got a running back
Yeah.
who they're on bye this week, which is probably why Adam traded him to me.
Yeah.
I would have traded him to me too,
Ugh.
just because you can't afford to sit with a good player on bye.
No.
But the Dolphins have weapons, man. So I'm going to say that probably a little like any warm weather team, but I don't think it'll be a Tua reason. I don't think it'll be anything other than just teams from Tampa, Miami that always play warm. Probably they're just like a little stunned when they have to go play freezing cold.
Similar to like when the Patriots go play in Miami, right? With that heat.
Because it's so
and
hot,
Yeah, they're just not used to it, so maybe a little something different.
It's like people going to Green Bay in the freaking winter when it's freezing cold. So yeah, I think that could be any New Orleans having to play cold weather. You could insert them too, but they already suck. So
But don't they change the AC in the bubble in practice and stuff?
yeah, they put on a whole 63. That's really
No,
tough.
I'm serious. Like I remember when I was working the news, I interviewed Mac Brown, and he was talking about playing, I don't know, some northern college or whatever, and he says, "Yeah, we've turned it down to like sub-zero temperatures in here so we can get used to it."
I don't think you can turn it
There's
down
no
to a
way.
sub-zero.
Oh, dude, he said that they brought ice in and everything because they had a cover practice facility, and they brought ice in, threw it on the field and everything. I mean, obviously,
okay, that's a lot. Okay, you can
Yeah.
do stuff like that. I thought you meant to turn the AC so cold it freezes
no,
everybody.
and then those like big fan tubes that keep people warm. I think there's the opposite ones that just freeze the whole place up.
I think probably in professional world they don't have to worry about that as much because they just expect people to be professionals.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't ever see that.
Right.
I could see if it were a big bowl, national championship, big game where you're doing little things in college because the kids probably have never played in cold weather. I'm assuming if you're in the NFL, you've played in cold weather enough at some point, even if it's not regularly.
Right. Yeah.
But,
yeah.
man, I thought that was a heck of an AC. I doesn't get that company.
I know. It's like a walk-in cooler.
Can we
there.
get this 5 below, please?
Rock that over at the house if we need it because I love to sleep cold. All right, what else, Kevin?
Are the Vikings still being disrespected as a 1.5-point underdog at home versus the Cowboys?
Oh, shut up.
Do you know what that means, though? Because they're a 1.5-point underdog, but they're at home. They're playing in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
That means they think that the Cowboys are 4.5 points better.
And that's where the disrespect comes from that he's talking about.
Yeah. Also, coming off, I wouldn't just say that. I would say coming off that big game against Buffalo,
Yeah.
not that there's going to be a letdown game, but that sucks a lot out of you, like having that. And then you know what you do for the next couple of days? You talk about it everywhere. You have to. It's the big, again, they're professionals, so you hope that's not the case, and you hope that they're able to focus, and they
Good
will
point.
be able to. But there's just a lot to winning a big, exhausting game that stays in the media, called the game of the year, because you can't just finish the game and be like, we won, awesome, we'll do our press and get out and start focusing. It lives for another 2 days. And you're talking about it, your friends are texting you about it.
Yeah.
You're still focused, but it's like, man, what about that play? Emotionally,
you're not focusing on next week.
psychologically, you are, you think you are, but you're probably not able to put it in
Yeah.
the same way, like focus, because you only have so much focus, regardless of what you're doing. You can't create more focus. There's only a certain amount you can possibly give, even at your best. So I think that's part of the reason psychologically teams after big games don't do as well, generally speaking.
Sure.
Do I think they're being disrespected? I think the Cowboys are a better team.
They're
But
coming off that loss too, the Cowboys.
Yeah,
That was a big emotional loss as much as that was a big emotional win.
and off the loss, you're like one or two ways. You're like, well, season's over. That sucks. It's hard. In college, that happens a lot more where you go, well, we lost our second game. We're out of it. So those losses in college, I read a study after the first loss to the second of a team that's in contention, they often perform poorly because to them, their goal is over.
Oh, wow.
Their big goal is over. They have to readdress, recalibrate, and find their new goal, which they do, the big bowl game, win some games. Where in the pros, not the same because like the Eagles, after the Eagles lost, they were like, man, stop the F and talk about undefeated. Yeah, we lost, but let's go next game.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Right.
So a little bit disrespected because of the Vikings. And also, remember, humans are setting these lines.
Oh, are they? It's not computers?
Well, based on, the computer can set it, but humans are setting them based on what we bet. So a
Yeah,
line
but-
will move based on bets. Here's what Vegas wants. They want 50-50 on each side.
Correct.
So they want to put that line somewhere that half the people bet yes, half the people bet no, because what they're getting is that middle cut of what it costs to make the bet. So it's not Vegas going, we think they're for sure going by 10 points and we're sitting by it. They're going, we think the people are going to think it's 6 points, so we're going to do that.
So the people are thinking that the Cowboys are going to win by that margin?
I may have explained this wrong. What they do is they set a line that they feel is appropriate, and the reason they move it is because a bunch of people jump on one side. It's like a seesaw. And so if you let's say it's sitting exactly even. Cowboys are on one side of the seesaw, Vikings on the other. You got one person here, one person here. Let's say another person sits on this side, and therefore it goes, ooh. Well, Vegas is like, oh, we got to move the spread because we need to get even again. So they need to put somebody on this side, so they move it that direction. Ooh. All they're trying to do is get people betting 50-50. And they never hit it perfectly. But what you hope is, win or lose, you still make more in that middle slice that it cost you to bet than you lost, even if you're on the wrong side of it.
I also feel that Vegas, whenever a line's like that and everyone starts thinking, oh, this is disrespectful. The Vikings look great against the Bills. It's not. I love it because I always feel like Vegas knows something that we don't know. And I mean, obviously, making
They
the
set
lines.
the line knowing something. They move it based on people.
And this line has not moved. So I've been watching the line. It has not moved. So as a fan, I love where it's
Did you
at.
take it?
Of course.
NFL's tough, man. You never know.
That's hard. It's my favorite to bet, but yes. So
They're still the
tough.
Vikings, still have Kirk Cousins, right? And people have a bad perception of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He makes a whole lot of money. Didn't really done anything. Also, although he's not had an opportunity with wonderful coaches or offenses or weapons, you can go down whatever argument road you want there.
Mm-hmm.
He's slinging it last week, though.
Yeah.
That one interception he threw, though, where they were like, they show him like looking, checking down, and all of a sudden he finds the guy and throws it, but it's the wrong guy to the other team. The corner standing over there with nobody by him, and he just catch it. Hilarious. He's like, they were like, watch Kirk Cousins here. It's like a meme. They're like, watch Kirk Cousins as he checks down. And you see him back. Nope. Oh, he's good. Right to him. There's no receiver anywhere. It's just right to the defensive back.
Do you think that guy was over there on the side like you do in pickup basketball? Like, hey, throw it to me.
He's like, what?
You know, it's like,
He's like, wow.
oh, yeah, you're not on my team.
He actually did it.